I would rather not like die on the moon. That's a fear.
But how cool would that be? First man dead on the moon?
First man on the moon, first man to die on the moon.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think anybody's died on the
Right?
moon
You
yet.
could be the first woman dead on the moon.
Still could be number one.
We could
dead
be.
on the moon.
All right, put on the bucket list. First person dead on the moon. Would they leave you there?
Like, I want to go. I guess what I could do is I could fly out there.
Yes, you
in
could
my
easily.
spaceship.
Yep.
As I'm like actively dying, right?
Yeah.
And then I just live there until I kick it.
Like old people who go on a cruise and that's their plan is to just die on the cruise.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn. And most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention. There's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather. Weirds of a feather.
Listen to us talk.
Talking about bagels and biting on bagels. Not really, just kidding. It's got nothing to do with bagels,
But kind of.
but almost.
You wish.
Yeah, probably be better. This is the bagel podcast.
Yeah, if it came with bagels.
Came
talked
with
about
bagel. We
bagels.
talk about bagels and we review bagels.
Yeah. It's not very exciting for you, the listener, because it's just us munching on
Chomping
bagels.
on bagels. There's a lot of
Yeah, and then us like trying to verbally describe taste and looks.
bagely.
Don't translate well. Yeah, bagely.
Mm.
Do other countries have good bagels?
They must,
I feel like
right?
it's a Jewish New York thing, properly making bagels.
Right.
I wonder where in the world has the best bagels.
I would say New York.
I would think so. I don't know if that's controversial to say.
Mm.
I don't know.
Have you seen those people who scoop out the innards of their bagel?
Yes.
For more schmear?
Well, I
Blasphemy.
don't know if it's just for more schmear. I also
And,
think
like,
it's like a
less
calorie
carbs.
saving
Ugh.
thing. Yeah.
You're eating a bagel. Just
Eat the bagel.
live with the choice that you made.
Or scoop your own bagel, you know?
Yeah, don't have
Like,
other people scoop.
it's
Also,
weird.
like,
It's disrespectful.
if I were a bagel worker and someone asked me to scoop their bagel,
Right?
I'd eat that scoop. I'd be like, this is
Yeah.
mine now. Or a communal bagel. I'm not wasting this good bagel.
True. I guess you could just eat half their bagel.
Yeah.
You could sell the scooped insides, just
The
like in
innards?
Seinfeld, where Elaine has the idea of starting a muffin top company. It's called Top of the Muffin. Well, her boss takes the idea and opens a place called Top of the Muffin. And
That's
then
really
they don't know what
cute.
to do with the stumps. Because you can't just make the bagel or the muffin top. You have to make the whole muffin and then
Yeah.
twist the top off. Then what do you do with the stumps?
Well, you can get those special tins that are just muffin top tins.
Well, this was back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
And still,
We
the
didn't
muffin
have
top
that
tin, I feel like,
technology.
still doesn't do it properly,
It's
you
not
know?
the same.
Yeah.
I like I mean, nothing beats the muffin top, but
Right.
I also like the muffin bottom.
It's just more muffin.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but I'd rather have that than no more muffin.
Yeah.
You know?
I would rather have a full muffin than just a top of a muffin.
I agree.
Who's eating just the tops?
Well, I used to get just the tops, actually, when I think about it, in the Deering High School cafeteria. Remember? They sold the cinnamon cappuccino or whatever
Oh, those are
crunch
really good.
muffin tops. Oh my
Yeah.
God, those were so good.
Isn't
Call
that
them
just
muffies, I
basically
think.
a scone, though? Basically, it's like a fancy scone.
It's a little softer than a
When
scone.
does a muffin top become a stone? Scone.
When does it become stone? Two important questions.
Yes.
And what's the difference between a scone and a stone? You
Yeah.
know? Not much.
It
A
really.
little flour.
A little flour, a little
Yeah.
sugar.
Ian-
And that's about it.
Ian loves scones, and I don't understand it. Like, they're
I
so
think-
average.
I just don't think I've had a good scone. I think every scone I've had has been dry and has tasted like cardboard.
I think I've had a good scone, and even the best scone is still worse than an average muffin. You know, like I'd rather just have a muffin.
I don't think I've had a good scone, but I believe you fully in that
Right?
statement. Yeah.
Like maybe it's not that you haven't had a good scone. It's maybe just that scones aren't very good and you've had the best that scones have to offer.
True.
You ever
Yeah,
thought about that?
maybe I've had good scones and I just didn't even know it.
Right?
But I feel like nothing's worse than a bad scone.
I agree. It's so dense and dry.
Dense, dry.
It's like eating sand.
You doing this a lot?
Yum. Good. Yeah.
Mm.
And I bet the listeners are enjoying those noises.
Yep.
All right. Should we get
Okay.
into this bagel bite?
Yeah.
Now that we've soliloquied about bagels and
bites,
muffin tops and
muffin top-
scones.
Yeah, we've
A real pastry.
quite the bakery
opening.
here. Yeah.
yeah. Opening our own little shop soon.
Yeah. Theoretically.
Yeah. Well, anyways, welcome to Weirds of a Feather, an AuDHD-Adjacent podcast. I'm your host, Grace Beret.
And I'm your host, Kristin Stanhope.
Ayo. And this is a bagel bite.
It's a bagel bite.
So get your mouths
Get
ready.
your mouth ready.
Scoop out, just like you would a bagel, scoop out that center.
Except don't scoop out a bagel. Just eat the bagel.
Yeah. Just
Bagel-
like be grateful for what you're given, what
Yes.
God has given you, a bagel. And imagine working so hard to like bake these treats. You're up at fucking 3 a.m. You're using your great grandmother's famous bagel recipe you've slaved away all morning just for some hipster doofus to come in and ask you to scrape out half of the bagel.
More than half.
Right. It's like
a
most
good
of the bagel.
75%.
Like, oh, you just want me to throw this baked good I made for you
Right.
directly in the garbage?
In the garbage. It's a useless. Ugh. That makes me upset.
I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Me too.
But we can't talk about bagels and muffins forever because we have some stuff to get to and I'd like to get to it.
Here.
So should we get started?
Let's do it.
Want to do a little plish?
Yeah.
All right.
Little plishes.
All right, Kristin.
Yes.
What have you accomplished?
I made a curry last
Oh.
week and I was pretty proud of myself.
Interesting.
I've made them before, but this was a new recipe. Turns out I have everything to make curry except for stock, and this was a chicken curry. And I've realized I did not cut my chicken cubes small enough. So the texture was a little off, but it was still good.
It's a learning
Flavor
experience.
was good. Mm-hmm.
Can I say something controversial?
Yeah.
I hate curry. I wish I didn't. I understand.
I'm upset by this.
I know. Everyone in the
I'm
world
upset
seems to
by
love
this.
curry. I wish I did. I
Is
wish
it
I liked
curry
it.
powder or the turmeric?
It's both. I don't like turmeric. I don't like curry powder.
Yeah.
I'm a super taster. So the flavors are just like
Mhm.
way too overpowering for
There's
me.
a lot of flavor in there.
Also, when I studied abroad in Australia, Australia, they have some of the worst food I've ever had in my life. Like consistently. I traveled all around Australia. I went to the Northeast. I went to Sydney. I went to Townsville. I went to Brisbane. Terrible food all around. Australians, I hope you're not offended because you know it's true. But in our dining hall, so like not only was it Australian food, it was like college dining hall Australian food. Our
Oof.
dining hall served curry like every other day for some reason. And it was just so terrible. And that was really my primary experience I've had with curry was in this Australian college dining hall.
That's not a good.
I know, but I think it just like ruined it for me so much
Yeah.
that now just the smell kind of like makes me gag a little.
I'm
and
not
I'm
a
so
big
sorry.
fan of like straight up yellow curry. This one I made was more of a brown curry. Maybe you'd like it.
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah, it's really
It
the
wasn't
yellow
as
curry, I think.
yeah, it wasn't as curry powder and turmeric-y as I thought it was going to be. It was very heavy on the gram masala sauce or spice. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, I made it and it was edible and I'm proud of myself. And I'm probably going to
Congratulations.
make another one. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm going to use same recipe, but I'm going to make it some adjustments.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Learn as you go.
Yeah.
It's a good meal if you like it.
I love mushy foods.
Ugh.
You know, like I love
I
a
don't
good
know.
oatmeal. I love a good like mush.
You like
so,
a mush?
I like a good mush. It's got to be consistently mushed though, and I think that's where I went wrong with the chicken. I should have known to cut it up more.
Blend in with the mush.
Yeah, so it's more mush.
Mm.
That way, also when you get the naan, you can kind of like
The scoop.
give it a good scoop.
What if you did like shredded chicken? Because then you're really getting a good
Yeah,
scoop.
but you want to cook this chicken in all of like the curry sauce because then it gets in like the onions and the garlic and the ginger, and so it
I
gets
guess
all
you can't shred
flavorful.
chicken until you cook it.
Yeah,
Right.
I just gonna have to cut it up. Or I was thinking of using maybe lentils.
Good lentils.
I did buy like 3 years ago. I bought lentil beans that I still haven't used, like a giant bag of them, and I get made fun of it weekly as we go through our grocery list. Christopher's like, good thing we have all these lentils and beans that we haven't used.
Hey, when our society collapses and you're living off lentils, guess who's going to be laughing?
Yeah.
Guess who's going to be hungry?
They were a bargain. So,
yeah.
And they can live forever, right? Lentils?
Can't turn down a good lentil bargain. I don't know if they live forever, but I think they have a long shelf life.
Like a couple years worth?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Okay. Well, hopefully. I'll have to check before I use them.
Okay.
Grace.
Yeah.
What did you accomplish? What's your plish?
You will be very proud of me.
Yeah?
I scraped out my peanut butter jars with that big fancy knife scooper thing you gave me.
I'm so proud of you.
I finally did it.
I'm like a proud mama bear.
Right?
You've done it.
I used it.
I'm so excited.
I've done it. I threw out like 7 peanut butter containers. I still have probably like 4 or 5 in there.
That's obscene, but
it's progress.
Progress.
Change doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, Kristen. I'm slowly.
Did it work well?
Yeah, it worked great. It was very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll do it again someday, you know?
It's a good scooper. It's good. Some heft to it.
Yeah.
And everything.
Nice weight.
Yeah.
I think once I hit the double digits with how many peanut butter jars I have in the cabinet, that's time to do a reset, you know?
I don't have that much cabinet space to have that many peanut butter
I
jars.
am rich in cabinet space.
You do have a lot of cabinets. More cabinets.
We have so many friggin' cabinets in that kitchen.
It's almost like your dad was a carpenter or something.
Yeah.
He was like, we need more cabinets.
And before he became just like a general contractor, he made cabinets. So
he's like, you know what we need? More cabinets.
Fill it with cabinets. Space on space on space. So it just really kind of encourages hoarding.
The cabinet to kitchen ratio is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of space. And, you know, I always fill the space I'm given. So
yeah.
If I have the room for 11 peanut butter jars, I'm going to fill it up. And that's just me, you know?
Peanut butter jars.
That's just me. All right. Now that we have accomplished a few things, very important things, should we get into this bagel bite?
Yeah.
We've got a schmorg. We've got your listener responses. We've got information about the moon landing.
Yeah.
We've got a listener email about tea towels. We've got info about commercials. We got a lot of stuff
to cover today.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do it.
I am too.
In this little tiny bite.
Yeah.
Except it's not so tiny.
Can we pack it in?
We're going to try.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Let's start with the moon landing. Yeah. I really want to talk about it.
Was it fake? I know we already made this joke.
Yeah.
But
let's just keep dragging it out until it dies.
I know. It never gets old.
Yeah. Keep beating that dead horse train.
Yeah. It's already been beat, but here we go again.
Let's start with a few listener poll responses.
Yeah. So a couple episodes ago, we talked about the moon landing, and Grace, you specifically asked whether, like, why Neil and Buzz couldn't step off onto the moon together. Like, why was it Neil and then Buzz?
Holding hands, yes.
Yeah. And so we asked a poll question. And the poll question was, would you be, because I said I would like to be the second person on the moon. I don't need to be number one.
You don't want the fame and glory.
I don't.
You'd rather
it's
have
not
safety.
about the fame. I would rather have safety over fame than glory. And glory. Fame
then glory.
Then glory.
Yeah, yeah. What would you rather have, fame or glory? I'd rather have glory.
I don't understand the difference between the two.
I don't really either.
So you wanted to be number one.
Yeah.
And I was like, number one. And I was like, no, I would rather not like die on the moon. That's a fear.
But how cool would that be? First man dead on the moon?
First man on the moon. First man to die on the moon.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think anybody's died on the moon yet.
You could be the first woman dead on the moon.
Still could be number one.
We could
dead on the moon.
All right, put it on the bucket list. First person dead on the moon. Would they leave you there?
Like, I want to go. I guess what I could do is I could fly out there.
Yes,
in my spaceship.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. As I'm like actively dying, right?
Yeah.
And then I just live there until I kick it.
Like old people who go on a cruise and that's their plan is to just die on the cruise.
Yeah, you know every cruise ship has a morgue.
I did know that. Please.
Because of that. And a dialysis center.
Good.
So we asked, would you be number one? Would you be number two?
Yeah, you more when of it a comes Buzz?
To, are you a Buzz or a Neil?
Yeah.
So 15% said that they would be Neil Armstrong. They want to be number one.
Only 15%? Wow, bold.
15% said that they want to be number two.
Okay.
And 70% said, why couldn't they hold hands together and go together?
Thank you guys. Yes.
Most people agree with you is that they should be going together.
Vindication. They should be going together.
I feel like the door wasn't big enough. And what if it was like a booby trap or something by aliens?
Well, I don't know. First man booby trapped on the moon. Yet again, another cool title.
First,
First one tricked by aliens on the moon. Guinness Book of World Records right there. Well, Kristin, I have done some learning about the moon landing.
Okay.
And why Neil got to go first.
Okay.
And I want to share it with you guys.
Sure.
It's pretty interesting.
I'm excited to hear about it.
I'm excited to tell you. So I read an article called Why Was Neil Armstrong the First Person on the Moon?
Oh my God.
By Diana Spector in
That's
Business
crazy
Insider.
that this is an article.
Right? There were like multiple articles about why he got to go first. So I guess I'm not the only one wondering.
Okay.
I think I maybe was the only one wondering why couldn't they jump off together holding hands?
Yeah, I think so.
That might be an original question. But people are wondering why Neil got to go first. All right. So on July 20th, 2019, it was the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing when astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first person ever to plant boots on the dusty lunar surface. And then Buzz Aldrin followed about 20 minutes later.
20 minutes?
It was 19 minutes, actually. Another article clarified. But yeah, 19 minutes later. What was he doing?
What was
I think
he
he was
doing?
waiting. I think he was pulling a U. He was waiting to see any booby traps.
He's like, guys, let's not rush this.
Yeah, let's
let him
be
go
the guinea
out.
pig.
Yeah. He'll
see
go
what
out.
happens.
20 minutes.
I wonder if it was like he had to get all his gear on, you know?
I don't know.
Or it was truly just like, let's see.
I would have
See
been.
if anything
I'm
bad
all about
happens.
safety, but I'm also like slightly reckless. So the second you were like, 2 boots on the ground, I would have been like, I'm out. I'm coming out.
Let me out.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, I don't know why the 20 minutes, but that's what happened. So most people assume that NASA always planned for Neil Armstrong to be the first person to step out onto the moon because of his seniority, because Armstrong was the commander of Apollo 11 and Buzz Aldrin was the lunar module pilot. And then Michael Collins was the third guy, and he stayed behind.
Oh, Michael Collins.
Yeah, the guy you never hear about.
You never hear about him.
Michael Collins. He stayed behind in lunar orbit as
Yeah.
the command module pilot, because someone's got to stay in the ship.
Yep.
So in a Reddit AMA, which means Ask Me Anything, where someone will like go onto Reddit live and people,
American Medical Association.
Yeah. No, Ask Me Anything on Reddit, where someone will be like a special featured guest, and people
that's cool.
like during this period of time, whether it's like an
I
hour
still
or
don't
whatever.
really understand how Reddit works, but
It's just people commenting things and like making posts
How
and
do you-
commenting on other posts.
is there any like blue check marks that are like, I'm actual specialist in this field, or?
I think there is some kind of certification
Huh.
where because there are like specialists that go on Reddit. You can like Reddit can be a terrible garbage fire, but it can also be very informative. Like I do learn a
I've looked
lot
up
on
couple
Reddit.
things about Reddit.
Yeah, there's like a lot of experts on there.
All right.
And people always say in order to get a question answered on Reddit, like sometimes people will ask, more kind of complicated science questions or whatever, and they won't get many responses. Someone recommended that you make a fake account, respond to a question that's not getting any traction with an incorrect answer, because not everyone likes to share information unprompted. Lots of people love to correct you. So if you're trying to get information
That's
and no
really
one's answering,
funny.
go on a different account and post
That's
a
really
wrong
funny.
answer, right? It gets people real fired up and they'll come in with all your research that you need.
Love that.
Right? Good
Okay.
tip. But yeah, so Ask Me Anything is just like a person is going to be featured on there. Like celebrities have done it before, people in different fields, specialists will just say, I'll be on Reddit live for like 2 hours. During that time, anyone can just go onto the Reddit forum and ask them a question and they'll respond in real time.
That's cool.
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin did a Reddit Ask Me Anything to mark the 45th anniversary of the moon landing. And he described the uniqueness of NASA's decision to have Armstrong walk the moon first. So typically the junior person...
Thumb war. That's my guess.
Yeah.
They had a thumb war.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, so normally, I guess, the junior person, which was Buzz Aldrin, would step out first so that the more senior person, who was Neil Armstrong, would be left safely behind the controls and in a better position to take action in an emergency.
Yeah, leave him on the moon.
It's not just about keeping Neil safe. It's about keeping the person who has the most qualifications to like take over in an emergency, make sure he's safe, because Neil is the senior commander or whatever. So if there was an emergency, he would be the best person to like jump into action.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's not just like protecting the best guy. It's about like who's going to give us the best chance to like get us out of an emergency, you know?
Okay.
So it really should have been Buzz Aldrin to step out first. So in all previous missions, if a crew member was to spacewalk, it was always the junior person, not the space commander, who would stay inside, Buzz Aldrin wrote. At least one team at NASA thought the junior person should go out first, but many people felt the great symbology of the commander taking that responsibility would be the best choice. And I also read that Neil Armstrong had nothing to do with this decision. He's like a very humble guy.
Yeah, I heard he's super humble.
Yeah. And so he wasn't like arguing, I should get to go first. This was kind of a decision being made at the top. Buzz Aldrin in this Ask Me Anything tried to make it sound, I'm not coming at you, Buzz, but he did try to make it sound like, well, I don't know, NASA made this decision and I guess they thought Neil was the better choice. But this other article on history.com says that Aldrin lobbied hard to be the first step on the lunar surface. But the NASA...
yeah, because Aldrin sounds like you. He wants to be number one. But also it makes more sense to send the rookie out in case something happens.
Yeah, but I think because it was so monumental,
safety
they
first.
wanted it.
I don't give a shit about the meaning.
They chose meaning over safety, I guess, you know? So that was just a personal choice for NASA.
Surprised at NASA for going with that decision.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, so NASA chose Armstrong for his calm confidence and total lack of ego, is what they said. Because part of it was also that whoever steps on first is going to be obviously in the spotlight the most afterwards. And they wanted someone that could handle the fame of being the first man on the moon, you know?
That
which
makes,
is like a really big deal. So I guess
That's fair.
I don't know if Buzz was like cocky or something, but they essentially knew that Neil Armstrong would be able to like handle the fame really well because he's such a humble guy that, I don't know, they just thought he would be the best for it. So in his Ask Me Anything, Buzz Aldrin said the decision that was made was absolutely correct as far as who went out first symbolically. So I guess he, was advocating for himself to go first. After it happened, he said, you know what? You guys made the right choice. So I don't know if that's genuine or not. He might just be like, yeah, I'm glad he went first. I wouldn't want that burden, but really he's mad inside. I don't know.
Honestly, he still got a lot of fame from it. Like, didn't they like do a tour and everything? Like, he's still very much a household name.
Yeah, I agree. And like, when I think about it, do you really want to be the number one, or would you rather have like
number two? It's a good spot.
Yeah, like if I'm going to be a celebrity, I'd want to be like a C-list celebrity where you have just enough privilege to like get the things that celebrities are offered, but you're not being like recognized every single place you go.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
you don't have to have like security detail with you. You know?
You're not Beyonce.
Yeah.
You're like the guy from that Lifetime movie or whatever, you know? And isn't that nice?
And then when people do recognize you, you're like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a niche group. They're not like chasing your children down in the streets, and stalking your house. They're just like, oh, yeah, you're that guy. I enjoyed you. In
or like, I hated your
cheesy
work.
Christmas movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And either way, isn't that fun?
That is fun.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what they say. They chose Neil because his lack of ego and because he was, the commander, and they wanted it to be symbolism. Another story, so from the historical account, which is maintained by NASA's History Office, they say that the agency originally planned for Aldrin to be the first man to step on the moon, but the lunar module posed design challenges that made the order difficult. The hatch opened on the opposite side where Aldrin was seated. For Aldrin to get out first, it would have been necessary for one bulky suited backpacked astronaut to climb over another.
Well, this sounds like more legit
yeah,
of a reason.
So it sounds like maybe it was a combination, but ultimately it sounds like a very practical, functional decision.
Yeah,
where you can't
this is the NASA, I know.
Yeah.
Have the other guy climb out.
Yeah, you can't have Buzz like climbing over Neil. He's got all the space stuff on. He's like, excuse me. Watch your knee there.
Watch your helmet.
Yeah. So practicality seems like ultimately was the main reason. So in a new documentary, I guess, which is about Neil Armstrong, Chris Kraft, who was NASA's first flight director of mission control, he kind of backs up the idea that Neil was chosen because of his mild manner and he was best equipped to handle the pressure of celebrity. Also, do you know that Neil Armstrong died in 2012? I didn't know that.
I know every time the government is like, we're going to cut NASA, he makes an appearance and then he disappears.
Well, that hasn't happened for a while, unless they're pulling out his corpse because he's been dead for a while.
Yeah. Especially not now because they're like, there's aliens now.
Don't get me started.
Anyway,
but
that'll
yeah.
be a different bagel bite.
Yeah. But he's often remembered as a humble hero who famously steered clear of the spotlight. Like, actually, there were a lot of times where he
What did he
like,
die from?
didn't want to do interviews. I don't know.
I feel like I watched like a Nova documentary on this. Yeah, he wasn't like super into interviews. He just wanted to like do his job, and
He just worked. I think he just worked a desk job like for the rest of his time at NASA. After that, he like didn't.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I respect it. Once
You
again,
know?
I bring this up all the time, but it's like the actor from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory who plays Charlie, and then he just went on to be a large animal vet. You know, I so respect that.
Yeah.
Instead of getting a taste for fame and being like, ooh, and kind of going down
Let me
this,
do
like,
the next stunt.
yeah. He's just like, you know what? I made
Jake
a
Paul.
name for myself. Yeah, fuck you, Jake Paul. He's just like, I made a name for myself. It was a cool accomplishment. Now I'm just going to like go live a regular life.
Yeah.
And I really respect that. People who aren't like fame hungry, you know?
Also, could you imagine like, because he had like a wife and a kid, right?
Yeah,
So could
I
you
think
imagine you're like the wife at home listening to the radio, or maybe like even watching it at NASA, just being like, I hope my husband doesn't die,
Hope he doesn't
you know?
blow up. Yeah,
I
it's
hope he
terrifying.
doesn't get kidnapped by aliens.
I hope an alien doesn't booby trap him on the moon.
Yeah.
A legitimate concern. And I will end this with a final fun fact. Neil swears that he actually said, that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. But because of the static-filled connection, the was inaudible. So it sounded like, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. He swears he said, that's one small step for a man. Isn't that interesting?
That makes more sense.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Either way makes sense.
Either way, yeah. Either way, it's a lovely statement. I wonder if he like pre-wrote that, you know?
Yeah, well, like, was he planning on saying it?
You gotta have that planned out. You're not gonna just be the first person ever to walk on the moon and just be like, okay,
You're like, hey, look at me.
See, if you and I were going to the moon and we were the first people ever to go to the moon, we would not have anything planned out.
No.
No.
What would your line be?
To make something up on the spot?
Yeah.
You're like, dustier than I thought.
I'd be like, suck it, Russia. I think that might be my response, right?
Where's Sputnik?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where's Sputnik now, bitch?
Yeah.
Famous, infamous. Put it in textbooks.
I'd do something stupid like, guys, we got a schedule to keep. Let's get these
I know
rocks.
you would.
I've got a clipboard. Where's my clipboard?
Yeah, science. It's all about the science.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. And then there's just like a bunch of like audio of me going like this.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's go. Let's hurry it up.
And that is why you weren't chosen.
I don't have all day
That's the
to
only
collect
reason.
rocks.
Yeah. I got to get back home.
Yeah, we've got
got a
to
wife and
complete
children.
this mission.
I got a doctor's appointment Wednesday.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's get going.
And go get a haircut.
Yeah. Well, thank God it was them and not you know?
It was much more profound.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is what I learned about
That's
the moon
lovely.
landing, right?
Yeah. I got to find that Nova documentary so we can watch it together.
Yeah, I'd like to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about space that much, like controversial opinion. It's one of those things I feel like I should care about, but I don't.
Yeah.
Because I think I have no reference point for it. It's just so abstract to me that
It's
it doesn't really
so-
have meaning to me.
I kind of choose not to think about it.
Yeah.
Like every time I watch like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
yes, that guy. We love him. But
I think he's actually kind of a bad guy.
is he?
Yeah.
Is anybody safe?
No,
Okay.
especially not men. Sorry. Men in Hollywood, I feel like there's a 99.9% chance they will break your heart every time something shitty comes out.
But anyway.
Sorry, Neil deGrasse Tyson
What did he do?
fans. I think he's just like a pretentious guy. I got to look into it
All
more,
right.
but
Well, I feel
don't
like
quote me
he
on
has-
that. I'll come back with hard facts.
I feel like he should be pretentious. He's like this well-known scientist, and now he has all this fame.
Yeah, but I think it's to the point where it's like
Now it's an issue.
he disregards stuff that he doesn't personally agree with, even if it's like scientific, you know. I don't know. Once again, don't
All
quote
right.
me on it. I got to look into them. I'll come back.
But I lost my train of thought.
Oh, space documentaries. I always think it's going to be like fun and cool, like a nature documentary.
Yeah.
And then we put it on while we're like high.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is terrifying.
Yeah. I think I don't think about space that much because it's so vast and it makes, you know, everything seem so insignificant. It's almost like I don't think I can like mentally handle the concept of outer space, you know? There's just so much out there, and it just seems like every time I think about it, it's like all these like little world issues, they're not little, they're pretty big, seem like, it just makes me think that we're nothing. This is what I was thinking about on my way to work the other day. Like the human experience is just like a blink of time compared to like the existence of the earth and the existence of the solar system, the existence of the universe. It just doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
And then it kind of makes me think, like, why? And then I just kind of get overwhelmed and I stop thinking about it.
I just think it's so big and it doesn't really impact me day to day. And I know that's ignorant of me to say, but like, it's just out there.
I feel like sometimes you have to like protect yourself from thinking these big, deep thoughts all the time, because then you wouldn't get anything. You'd just be like, just so overcome with big, deep thoughts,
Yeah.
Gotta rein those in.
It's hard for me to conceptualize, so I just like don't. All right.
Maybe one day.
But probably not. It's just, on my list of things I should care about, but I don't. Along with like dinosaurs. Not to get
I
into
like
it
dinosaurs.
now. I just don't really care.
Oh.
Sorry. All right.
Okay.
On to some listener emails.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for writing in. If
love the
you
emails.
have comments about space or Neil deGrasse Tyson or muffins, you can email us at weirdswithfeather@gmail.com.
I might have to make that a poll
You got thoughts on
question.
scones?
Yeah.
You upset? Did I piss off Australians talking about their food? Let us know. We'll read your email on the air if you want. And if you
They've
just
got
want
to have some good food.
if you just want to
It's
have like a private word with us, just let us know.
It's a whole continent. They've got to have good food somewhere.
I mean, I'm sure somewhere.
There's like a barbecue place somewhere.
I'm sure like Aboriginal people have like good meals. I think it's just like the white colonizers who came there from
There's got to be
England.
good food in Australia.
Prison food.
I feel like you can't take your experience at a college dining hall.
But I ate in a lot of places. I went to restaurants. I went all over the country. Not all over the country. I didn't go to
We're
Perth,
going to go
but, like,
there and we're going to find you
went to
some
a lot of
good
places.
food.
Australians, let me know.
Yeah.
They do have good sausages. They eat a lot of sausages and you just eat it in a piece of bread. And they do a lot of barbecues.
Is that what a sizzler is?
Yes.
A sausage
A
sizzle?
sausage sizzle is just sausage in a piece of
In
white
bread?
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
They don't even use buns. It's just like a piece of bread.
Like white bread?
Yeah, just white bread.
I'm down
They
for
do
that.
it all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't they also have like fairy toast and it's just like bread and sprinkles?
Yeah, fairy bread. It's white bread with butter and sprinkles on top. It's actually pretty good. They like have it at kids' birthday parties. That's very
so
good.
Weird.
It's a good treat. All right, let's get to those emails, and we're going to talk about sausage sizzles and bunnings.
Yes.
But first, we have an email about tea towels.
Okay.
Important update about tea towels.
We have an update.
We got an email from our lovely listener, Janie.
We love her.
Not to be confused with Jamie, and not to be confused with Jane in the UK.
Okay.
This is Janie.
She's different.
She's different. She says, I've been listening to your podcast for weeks now, ever since I got caught up on listening to all of the ADHD for Smartass Women episodes.
Oh.
Love them both. I so thoroughly enjoy Tracy's informative work and have found your podcast equally amazing, but in a totally different way, aka not quite so informative.
Less on the information.
More on the
sillies.
She says, your silliness always makes me laugh, which is a very welcome treat. I'm now listening to Bagel Bite 24 Flexible Frannies. This aired almost a year ago in December 2023. So you have likely heard this from many people, but I am compelled to set you straight.
Okay.
We actually, Janie, have not heard this from anyone else. No one has said anything to us about the tea towels.
No, people wrote in about tea towels.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear much about the tea towels.
It's just, it was a year ago and you forgot about it.
Yeah,
You
you're right.
Swiped it from your mind.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing this back up, Janie, because it's something that
needs
deserves to be
to
talked
be-
about.
Especially, we're getting into the holidays here.
Tea towel season.
It's tea towel season.
So, to continue her email, she says, Jane from the UK wrote to you about her annoyance with kitchen towels being used wrong, and I thoroughly agree with her. When you read her message, you missed a very important detail. So this is also justice for Jane, I guess. She's finally getting some justice about her tea towel thoughts. You were right, Jane, and other listeners are letting us know. She says, tea towels are for drying dishes, as Jane explained. Hand towels are meant for drying hands. Imagine that. She also apologizes at the end because she says, I hope this doesn't come across dumb or bossy. I'm trying to be funny.
It.
I never
why
interpreted
don't they
this as being dumb and
tea
bossy.
towels, dish towels, dish drying towels.
They're called tea towels.
Why are they called tea towels? They're not for tea.
I guess they're for drying dishes. I think it's probably just one of those terms that originated in like England, you know, because they call like meals tea, having like
no, they
tea
have
time?
tea time, but they
And that's eating. When they call it tea, we're having tea. In some places, that means dinner. Tea means dinner.
where? What place
In
is
England.
that? In England?
Cue the music.
I don't think so. It's you have tea and like a little snack. It's just snack time. They have like designated snack time. They can't call it snack time, so they call it tea time, and they just have tea because they're obsessed with tea.
Okay, afternoon tea. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting off track already, but
Okay.
we need to go down this road. Afternoon tea is probably what most people imagine when tea time is brought up. Basically, it's a tradition as simple or complex as you want it to be.
Okay.
As long as it includes some variant of tea sipping.
Sure.
But it can, but doesn't have to include biscuits, mini sandwiches, cakes, and the like. Think finger food for the most part, but keep it light.
Tostitos pizza rolls.
Sure.
Yeah.
Finger foods, yeah. Then you have high tea.
High tea.
High tea, on the other hand, is a heavier and heartier break that has historically doubled as a fully fledged meal for the English working class. Something you might know as dinner or supper. Boom,
Whoa.
boom, boom. Brah.
So if I just
So
say, hey,
fucking
let's
cultured.
have tea.
You would say high tea.
High tea.
For dinner.
Okay.
Or you would just say afternoon tea.
Afternoon
for if you
tea.
just want a cuppa.
What about morning
Or you just say
tea?
a cuppa.
A cuppa?
A cuppa means a cup of tea. I'm very cultured, Kristin.
You are cultured.
So high tea, it leaves your belly full and your heart happy. This is on a website called teaandjoy.com.
Okay.
It usually consists of a stronger batch of tea coupled with a warm, well-made meal at the end of the workday around 6 p.m. Think fish and chips, roast with potatoes, sausage and mash, whatever your idea of a stick-to-your-ribs meal is.
Okay.
Boom! All right.
Curry.
Yeah, that could be
curry.
high tea. So now you guys know that little offshoot. So a tea towel,
Okay.
I guess, makes a little more sense if you think of it in that context. Not much more sense.
Not
but a
much
little
more sense, but a little bit more. No, I see now. Now
Right?
I've seen the light. I
Okay.
got it.
All right,
Okay.
good. I'm glad I could bring you over.
Yeah.
So hand towels are meant for drying hands. Imagine that. Sassy.
So sassy.
Back to the email. It says, she said her son uses the hand towel for drying dishes, which I also get annoyed about in my kitchen. And I am nowhere near being British or fussy about tea things. Hand towels leave streaks on dishes, and tea towels do not work well on hands, as both of you pointed out. I agree.
I didn't know they have different jobs.
Yeah, different purposes.
They don't dry dishes. Okay.
I know. I feel like if they don't work for drying your hands that well, they don't work for drying dishes that well.
But you don't want the streaks on your dishes.
I don't give a shit about streaks on my dishes.
I kind of just let them air dry.
Yeah, I don't really
And then they get all
spend
the-
much time
Yeah.
drying my dishes. I'm sorry.
I guess if you.
Am I supposed to? The only thing you should dry is knives
Knives.
before you put them back in the
Yeah.
wooden block, because otherwise they'll get moldy in there.
Which I forget.
That's like the only time I do that.
Several times to do that. I let things out to air dry quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Janie says, oh, and as a Canadian, I'd love to say, please don't use so many paper towels. A definite American
It
habit.
is, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Save the trees. Any
Yep.
kind of dishcloth can be used to wipe the counters, the table, and any sort of spill that may occur in your
Yep.
kitchen.
Yep.
I mostly use paper towels for my hands.
Yeah.
Specifically because I hate the towel smell on my hands. But as I was telling Janie in my response to her, I think part of that is I just need to wash my towels better
Yeah.
and then use some white vinegar maybe, and there won't be as much of that towel smell.
If you get
but I can always smell
white
it.
towels and then just bleach them. Just have all your towels be white and
Yeah.
then just bleach them. Because then
all your towels are white, and then I gotta bleach them.
yeah.
I'd rather just wash them with like white
All
vinegar.
of our bath towels are white because if they ever get dirty, like if I get like makeup on them, they go in the wash with a bunch of bleach and then they come out white and clean.
It's a good idea for regular towels. I don't know if I want my tea towels or my hand towels to be
I do
all
like
white,
a
you know?
fun hand towel,
Right?
right?
I like a funky hand towel.
Yeah.
It's a
What are
time
you
to express
using for
yourself.
detergent?
Like
Something.
like natural stuff.
Ah,
I just gotta add white vinegar. That's the way to get the
all
odor out.
right. Yeah.
So-
Sometimes you got to use a chemical.
But even then, no, because chemicals smell bad in a different way.
Mm.
They smell chemically to me.
I'm not.
You are so pro chemical, and I don't understand it. I'm very
I-
anti chemical.
Work in a hospital where we scrub everything down with like poison.
Yeah.
No, not poison. It's chlorhexidine and bleach.
I finally got you to throw out your friggin' car, whatever.
Yeah,
car,
my Febreze car things.
those are so bad for you. You
Yeah.
out there, this is something feel very strongly about, and it's because of my mother, because I grew up with asthma. And
Yeah.
she's very anti-artificial smells. But really, anything Febreze and any of those car scents that has something that like pushes out the smell, not
Yeah.
just like a little Christmas tree you hang up in the
Yeah.
window, but like one of those.
The Christmas trees are too strong.
Yeah, those stink too. Those probably aren't good for you either. But
Yeah.
especially the ones that are Febreze that are like blowing something out. Those are like so bad for you, and they're really bad for your lungs, which is why I was
What
so
am I
adamant about
supposed
you
to
getting rid of
use?
it. Use nothing. Get some essential oils, put them in a little spray bottle, spray a little essential oils in your car.
Oh,
Fine, have chemical-filled lungs then.
I threw them out, and now
Thank
it's
you.
just car.
It gives me a
It's
headache.
just like me smell. Just smells like me.
What's wrong with that?
I don't smell anything, but I just want to make sure that my car doesn't smell bad. Maybe that means I have to clean my car more.
Yeah. I mean, you don't smell bad, so I think just let your natural odors fly.
My
you know?
natural musk
Yeah.
just go.
Yeah. Mark your territory, you
It's
know?
like natural musk and like spilt coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is.
The Kristin essence.
There it is.
So yeah, that's why I use paper towels, but you're absolutely
you're
right,
absolutely
Janie.
right.
It is such a bad American habit, and I know we need to stop.
I bought a bunch of those like microfiber towels to
Ugh,
clean up
no,
with, but I hate
I
the
don't like it.
texture so much.
Same.
But now I have they're good at scrubbing.
They don't absorb enough.
They don't really absorb a lot. But they're
No.
good for scrubbing.
And like
if
cleaning glass, I find like cleaning windows.
I don't like. I have to use. I use a paper towel for. Oh, not for the windows.
But then you get little bits. You use newspaper. You're supposed to use newspaper, I
Am I
guess.
supposed to use
'Cause
newspaper?
it doesn't leave the little bits behind. But I just use the microfiber.
I think
towels.
for mirrors and windows, I do paper towels because they don't leave streaks.
But they can leave tiny little white bits. is the
I would
problem.
rather deal with the white bits than the streaks.
Yeah, the streaks drive me
The
crazy.
streaks drive me crazy. And the microfiber towels leave streaks.
Depends on how you're cleaning.
Okay.
Anyway, she ends it by saying, so please clean up your proverbial act and use the right towels for each job.
Well,
Sincerely, Janie from Ontario, Canada. Not to be confused with the great musician Jane from the UK. And then, like I said, she ended it and said, P.S. Hope this doesn't come across dumb or bossy.
no,
I'm trying to be funny.
not at all.
Absolutely not.
Actually, quite informative, and I like the almost aggression.
Right? I told her someone needs to raise us and we require a strong hand.
Yeah.
So, please speak to us this way.
Yeah,
Someone has to tell us.
This is like the perfect email.
Because, where do we get off, you know?
Yeah. We're just
Who
here
are
talking
we?
about things, but yeah, definitely need someone to raise us.
Right? Yeah. It's not
I
gonna
mean,
be us.
we're raised, but
Could've done a better job.
Yeah.
I've seen better. So yeah, those are Janie's thoughts about tea towels.
I love it.
And Jane, you have been redeemed because you are correct about tea towels and we are wrong and we're stupid Americans.
We are stupid Americans.
Wasteful, stupid Americans.
Using paper towels.
Yeah.
Although the paper napkin industry has been decimated by the millennials.
Millennials, we're killing
Yeah,
it.
We're
Yep.
killing it.
So if
literally.
you think we use a lot of paper towels,
Yeah.
imagine the boomers, you know?
We have a long way to go, but we're getting there.
This is progress.
Yeah.
We're very progressive. All right.
It's
And
about 20 years too late.
Yep.
That's okay.
finally,
Mhm.
we got another email about commercials.
Yes.
Do you-
Yes.
Do you want to read this one? Or you want me to read this as
I
well?
want you to read it.
Okay.
You're better at reading.
Thank you. I would hope so.
Mhm.
We had asked, Kristin, you asked a while ago
Yeah.
what commercials are playing in other countries if they can't advertise prescription medication.
Yeah.
What else are
Or
they
the
showing
military.
Because we get a lot of commercials that are about medications in the military.
Mhm.
So we kind of made a call out. What are you watching for commercials in other countries?
Yeah.
We got an email from our friend and listener, Randy. So she says, in Denmark, we have quite strict laws about commercials on TV.
Ugh,
Only
if
over-
only.
I know, right? Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Only over-the-counter medicine commercials like cold nose spray or
Paracetamol. It's Tylenol.
I knew you'd be able to say
Yeah.
one are allowed. So that's interesting. They still do have medication commercials. They're just over-the-counter only.
Yeah.
That makes more sense instead of having to ask your doctor about something you saw on TV. You know?
Yeah. Viagra.
Yeah.
If I see one more goddamn Viagra commercial.
Seriously, don't make me think about your boners, honestly.
Also-
Gross. Keep it to yourself.
I'm going to rein it in.
Yeah. We
I'm gonna
can't
pause
get started on them stodgy
And
living.
maybe I have some semi-biased opinions for Patreon, but that's okay.
I'm sure they're not biased. I'm sure they're just correct.
They're just, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
She says, and only channels based outside of Denmark are allowed to have commercials in the middle of a program or show. Danish television can only show commercials between programs.
Oh my God.
What is that? I don't understand that. Only channels based outside. So for any Denmark channels, yeah, they can't interrupt.
You can't like interrupt
That's
a TV.
amazing.
Yeah. Your TV subs, I'd pay for cable if I could watch commercials in between programs instead of like mid-program. It just cuts to
like
commercial.
Every 7 minutes, you got to watch a commercial.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Absolute garbage.
That sounds really nice. I had no idea that was even
lovely.
a thing. Right?
What a good TV program.
I know. And she says, instead, we have commercials for cars, mostly electric vehicles these days.
God, we are so behind.
Commercials for online gambling and betting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So they still are, advertising addiction in some way or another.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Household appliances, safety shoes for handymen.
I love it.
So
I love it.
Hard
this
boots.
Is very. I feel like I've never been to Denmark, but I'm going to say that's so Denmark.
That's so Denmark. It just feels like a very Denmark thing. Yeah. So not clogs then, I guess, like I had guessed. The supermarkets run commercials for this week's milk, cream, butter, bread, cheese, etc.
I love that. Informational.
Right?
This is what I need.
Yeah.
I don't need a perfume commercial. I need to know what's on sale at the grocery
Where you're
store.
trying to like visually describe a smell?
Yes.
No. Johnny Depp, get out of here. Furniture stores, phone companies, kitchen cabinets. Quooker.
Boiling water straight from the tap in the kitchen. Oh, cool. It must be like a device that you put on your tap.
That boils water straight from the tap.
Yeah.
It boils the water like as it's coming out. Whoa. Quooker.
I feel like I've heard of those before.
Quooker, if anyone is interested and wants to look it up. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to look it up after. And then she says McDonald's and other fast food restaurants, travels, and hotels.com.
These sound like way better commercials.
I mean, we get some of that too. It's not
we
just
do not
medication.
get safety shoes for handyman commercials.
We don't get safety shoes for handyman commercials. We don't get Quooker.
And we don't get...
We get phone commercials. God, phone commercials kill me. They're so fucking annoying.
We get supermarket commercials, but it's like, come on down to Shaw's. And then it's just like a video of a family shopping.
I don't even know if I see those commercials.
We don't have like, this week we have... milk and cheese on sale for whatever price. That's what I want. I need information in commercials. I feel like commercials are so abstract and they try to like...
They're trying to like just brainwash you into like thinking about their product, you
right.
know?
And it's always like they're trying to like set a mood or feeling about a product. Just tell me about your product. If it's a shit product, then, good luck.
Because they're just using like all these marketing ploys and they're like studying psychology to manipulate us instead of just like, give me the information, I'll make the decision, boom. You know? Why complicate it?
Yes.
So she ends it with, I love your podcast and the fact that I'm only 12 minutes into the episode and have had the desire to park the car and write this email. I always listen in the car and I waited to get home before writing this.
Aww.
The episode hasn't even really begun and I still feel entertained and seen.
Aww.
And I love that you make that feel so normal and just as it was meant to be. Love,
Aww.
Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
That was so sweet.
That's so sweet. This is like the sweetest email.
And she also ends it with, P.S. I just needed to tell Kristin that I think she must be an amazing doctor.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
I wanted to write an email about another episode, but ADHD happened. She said to have a doctor that needs to know everything and knows or will know how medication works and will learn to use newer and better medications and leave old medications behind, even though they are what everyone else uses or is the recommended medication. Maybe it was the episode on gangrene or the one mentioning the opioid crisis.
There's been so many.
I know. But she says you're a really good doctor.
Oh,
so there you go.
Thank you. I'm not a doctor. I'm a physician assistant. It's a little bit
whatever.
different. It's different. But thank you very much. I'm very humbled that you wrote that. And then this is so touching.
And then she says, PPS, my daughter, when she was just learning to speak, hadn't yet understood that yes, thank you is 3 separate words. It's a little different in Danish. She was very polite in that era. You need to have your diaper changed. No, thank you. And Are you going to kindergarten today? Yes, thank you. So that's kind of like an example of that Gestalt processing we were talking about, where a kid interprets this phrase as having like one meaning.
I see.
Like instead of seeing yes as meaning yes, she sees yes to be yes, thank you, or no is no, thank you.
That's very
So that
cute.
whole unit of words has one meaning, yes or no.
She sounds very cute.
Very polite.
That's so polite.
right?
Yeah.
And then to end out our commercial talk, we got a message from Moonbirth Maven.
Yes.
Right?
About Bunnings.
Yeah, Bunnings.
Yeah. So we talked about, so once again, TV commercials outside the US. And Grace, you guessed Bunnings.
Bunnings. I did.
I guessed butter.
Hey, butter. Randy says butter is one of the things they advertise.
So we're both right.
We're both right. Butter and Bunnings.
Butter and Bunnings. Yeah. So Bunnings, I guess, is an Australian heart, which you would know more than I would, but I had to look it up.
I've been to a Bunnings.
You've been to a Bunnings.
I have. Got a sausage sizzle outside. We've talked about Bunnings on here before. They do like a sausage sizzle outside.
I think Enya's
lot.
talked about Bunnings,
yeah.
and I kind of just like nodded my head as if I knew what that was.
Ah, yes, Bunnings.
But Bunnings is like a hardware store, so like, and it's good, like this weird cult following.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
like a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So I of course go to YouTube. They have their own YouTube channel, and it's like,
of course they do.
How to paint a wall, how to tile your floor. It's all these like DIY. It's lovely. I loved it.
That's watched. So nice.
I learned a lot of things. I wish I could be more handy. But it has like this weird cult following. And Moonbirth Maven sent us some YouTube links and also an article about a DJ group called Peking Duck. That petitioned to have a rave inside a Bunnings, and Bunnings said yes, and so that happened. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's
that would never happen at Lowe's,
right?
Right?
Can you imagine? Unless it's like a Trump rally.
Yeah, no, that's Home Depot.
They're all corporations are corrupt.
Owned by the same people, probably.
Yep.
So Bunnings has this whole YouTube channel of like how-to videos. They're very like step by step and informational. There's no like bullshit, and it's wonderful. And I did watch a bunch late at night, and I don't know how to do anything.
You learn a lot?
There's how to prep. Not only is how to paint a wall, but how to prep a wall for painting. So you have to watch both. 10 out of 10.
Prep.
How to mow a lawn was on there, which I did watch, and apparently I've been mowing my lawn wrong.
What? How? In what way?
I just, I think my lawnmower's too low. Like I have to raise it up a little bit. And I think I haven't been going around with the weed whacker. I kind of do that every once in a while when I feel
like whacking?
Whacking, but apparently you're supposed to do it every time you mow your lawn.
That seems excessive.
That seems like a lot, but you know.
Well,
we can't all be Bunnings.
Right? Can't all be Bunnings.
But yeah, so thank you, Moonbirth Maven, for sending that our way.
Yes.
Because I had like a little YouTube rabbit hole that I watched. I don't know, but it almost reminded me of, have you ever seen that show How It's Made?
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of, except it's like better. They're YouTube videos. Well, like, did I just say videos?
Probably. Sound like your mother.
I sound like my mother.
Africa
and videos. Elainer. Yeah. Oh, man. Ideas.
Yeah.
And the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. But, yeah, thanks for sending that along. That was lovely. And I did, go down I wouldn't say a dark rabbit hole. It was a lovely rabbit hole.
A well-lit rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it was lovely.
Yeah, so if you want to learn how to do some practical life skills, I guess go to Bunnings on YouTube and they'll teach you.
Yeah.
You don't even need to have a Bunnings in your area.
You don't even need a Bunnings.
How to mow a lawn.
Go on get on that Bunnings bandwagon.
Yeah.
And learn how to do a thing.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for writing in. We really appreciate it. It's always wonderful to hear from you. We love reading your thoughts and hearing your feedback. And if you want to give us a sassy response or you have information for us.
If you would like to co-parent us,
yes,
let us know.
Along with Janie.
Yeah, we need parenting.
We need help. So put us on our places at weirdsofafeather@gmail.com.
Yeah, or you could find us on Instagram. You can always DM us. We have a Facebook group going. We're on TikTok.
Kind of.
And we have a website, and you can visit that. You can get some merch.
Yep. weirdsofafeather.com.
Yep.
And we have a Patreon.
We do.
Just go to patreon.com/weirdsofafeather. We're putting out more bonus content. We're doing more episodes of NDTV.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for listening. We got to get out of here. Yeah. That's all you can say. Woo! Ooh. That's a good one.
I don't know what it is.
Goose.